Talking Bills and Packers. Week 14 is in the book. No Brian this week. It's just me and DVD. That sounds like a song title.
Me and DVD. I don't think we've ever done like a episode just the Packers fans. Like I've definitely had to miss a few, and Brian has like jumped in on it, but I don't think it's just been you and I. Me and DVD.
No, this is the first time.
It definitely sounds like a single man's like sorrow song where he like breaks up with his girlfriend. Just me and DVD.
It's just
like there's
me
so many
and DVD.
So many innuendos that can go on here with just me and DVD.
Yes.
But I digress. It's not that kind of podcast. I mean, it
No,
could
it's
be.
not.
It could be.
I said week 14. Can you believe that we're heading into week 15? Like this, the football season always goes fast, but oh my God, it's week 15.
I know, and I think you said last week or 2 weeks ago where it's like we're in Saturday football territory or almost in Saturday football territory, and now we actually are.
Yes.
I was looking at the schedule and I was like, wait a second, where are all the teams? Like, I'm so confused. How could like 18 teams be on bye weeks? And it's like, no, they're Saturday games. Like, go up a day there, kid. Like, It's wild. Yeah.
Yes.
No, this season is, and I know, like this, it's also been like such a weird season. Like it's all of the overtime games early on.
I'm going to wait till it's over.
Yeah.
We'll wait till it's over and we'll like do a post-mortem on it. I don't think it's been a great regular season. Like there's been a lot of crappy football. There's been some really good stories, but there's been a lot of crappy football so far this year.
Total, and especially in primetime games where historically they would be good games, but now it's just like, look at the Monday Nighter. The Monday Nighter coming up is But
that's interesting, right? Because I feel like when the NFL, but if we looked at the schedule back in week 1, we would have said, oh man, week 15, Monday Night Football, Packers, Rams, that's going to have some playoff implications to it. That's a big game. And it's like, nope, the Rams stink, the Packers stink.
My
it doesn't
dad,
matter.
Diehard Steelers fan, and that Steelers-Baltimore game, which is normally the game to watch, he's like, I think I'm going to go to Plant World with your mother. I was like, really? You would have to go to Plant World and watch the Steelers-Baltimore game? Like,
yes, he would rather go to Plant World than watch Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky. Not that I blame him.
I don't blame him either, and we all know how Mr. Chalk feels about Kenny Pickett.
Yes. All right, let's talk a little bit about Week 14. We'll start with the Bills, who eked out a win. Well, I didn't say eked out; it was 20-12, but they picked up a W over the New York Jets. The Jets' defense really stymied them in the first half. It was low scoring in the first half. My main takeaway coming out of this game is two things. One, the Bills' offense is not what it was earlier in the season. They're still trying to figure out how to get going and fire on all cylinders and not be too reliant on Josh Allen. And two, if the New York Jets end up making the playoffs, that's a bad matchup for the Buffalo Bills. I think secretly behind closed doors, everyone in the Bills organization is sitting there crossing their fingers, being like, please don't make the playoffs and please don't play us in the first round.
Yeah, I think their offense is tired, to be completely. Like, they came out guns a-blazing. I know what you said, that, they're trying to click with Josh Allen, but I just think they are done for. Like, if they will make the playoffs. Like, they won't go deep. I think they're just...
Really?
I don't know. I that's my hot take. That's probably not a good opinion amongst other Bills fans, but I don't know if they're going to go that deep. I think they're just tired.
They're
I think
scuffling.
They came off a crazy run from last season, and they went guns a-blazing into the first 8 weeks, and now they're just gassing out. I think,
The AFC is really interesting because it's clearly the superior of the two conferences. And the Bills, as you just mentioned, are scuffling. The Chiefs picked up a win over the Broncos, but they didn't look great in doing so. Yeah. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are doing exactly what they did last year, where they're getting hot at the right time. And
your favorite new team?
Yeah, my new favorite team. Next week I'm gonna come on, and this is not gonna be a Packers hat. It's gonna be a Bengals hat. But no, seriously though, it's like I think the AFC playoffs are going to be so fun to watch.
But they normally are. Like,
Yes.
I feel like last season is so far away, so I'm like trying to recall, but I didn't think the NFC playoffs were as dynamic as the AFC. Like, I feel like they were just like a cut above. Like, the players were better. Like, the football was better. It was way more exciting. The games were closer. Like, I just find the AFC just has like a little je ne sais quoi over the NFC. Just reminds me of a bunch of like hardworking people who are just trying to get by, where the AFC has a little finesse.
Well, I don't disagree with your Bills take at all. I think they really need to get this sorted out. And if it's just, listen, you're going to get a tough matchup. Like, if they need to finish with the 1 seed, they need to get that bye, and they need to spend that time figuring it out and getting fully healthy. And like, because you're going to get a tough matchup, whether it's the Ravens and Lamar, because Lamar will be back by then, whether it's the Chiefs or whether it's the Bengals or somebody, like, you're going to get a tough matchup in that first round.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's all about Josh Allen. If he can just fire up the team. What do you think he's like behind the scenes? Like, do you think he's like a really, I wish I asked Brian this question, but like, do you think he's a really inspiring quarterback that like commands the locker room?
I think he's got a bit of growing up to do, in the sense that, like, you don't always need to be the hero, man. And I think Brian Daboll was really good for him in that regard, where he was like, you don't always need to be the hero, man. Like, we need to figure out, we need to keep you. Like, there's one highlight from the Jets game where he like leapfrogs over a Jets defender and then gets hit in midair and does like a spin, like helicopter spin in midair. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, if you get injured, this team is done. Like, you can't do that. And any of the experienced vet quarterbacks, they don't do that, right? It's just, so I think he's still a bit of a hero. He tries to do a little bit too much. I think he's incredibly talented. And I think once he figures out, like, I don't need to be a hero, I think his game will go to another level. But the Bills need to surround him with playmakers in order to do that. And we've talked a lot on this pod this year with Brian about their lack of run game. And sometimes it looks better than others, but for the most part, they don't have an effective run game. He is their run game. So it's yes, he's a hero, but he's also a hero kind of out of necessity, because the organization puts him in that position.
I agree, but don't think this is the year for the Bills.
Interesting. Oh, you heard it. I can't wait to bring this up with Brian next week. That'll be great.
We should just clip this for social media and just tag him right away. Just be like, you heard it here first. I don't think it's the year for the Bills.
Okay. You did it. We're going to do it.
I'm sorry. Citizens of Buffalo, you're going to have to wait another year.
So the Green Bay Packers bye week, they didn't play. They've got an interesting week coming up here, though, because you and I talked last week about how, as Packer fans, we don't love the San Francisco 49ers. We don't hate the San Francisco 49ers, but we also don't love them because of what they've done to the Packers in recent playoff memory.
But now they're not playing against Jimmy G.
Yes.
They might not be. Like, he's out for the season, is he not?
He is, and we're going to talk about Brock Purdy in a minute, but you and I are ready to put our San Francisco 49ers gear on Thursday night, because should the Seattle Seahawks upset the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers will be mathematically eliminated from playoff contention.
They will be. Sorry, that just sunk in a little bit. I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, but it's like they had a bye week. They got all their players back this week. We actually have a chance to beat the Rams. And it's like, I didn't even think about that whole fucking scenario. I was like, okay. Yeah.
So for the Packers, obviously the Packers, regardless, they need to win out, right? But if Geno Smith and the Seahawks upset Purdy and the 49ers, it doesn't matter. They're done.
So do you think they have a chance to do, like, the game with Purdy and the Pats?
Oh.
No, so this past weekend's game.
Oh, no, the Bucks. The Buccaneers.
Oh, the Bucks. Sorry, the Bucks.
Yes.
I was thinking
you're mixing up your Brady teams.
Brady's
you're mixing
team.
up your Brady teams.
Fluke? Stroke of luck? Pats are just horrible?
Not at all. No, okay. Not at all. Not at all. I think,
just so we're on the same page.
No, I think I glowed about Kyle Shanahan last week, and I'm going to glow about him again this week. They're freaking amazing. They've got the best defense in the league. He set up that offense that you could literally plug you or I in there, and as long as we can make the throws, we're going to be Super Bowl contenders. And it's just like you can put Purdy has shown in he's only played like a game and a half, but he's shown that he can make accurate throws, and that's all this offense needs. Like this team went to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game with Jimmy Garoppolo, who we all love Jimmy, but Jimmy is not an elite quarterback. He's not. So I don't like. We just talked about the Packers' hopes hinging on Thursday night. Even with Brock Purdy, it would still be a huge upset, like the 49ers are starting to round into form, and the Seahawks are starting to come back down to earth. Now it's a divisional game, and divisional games are always tough.
Yeah. I was just going to bring that up. That's a tough one for them.
The San Francisco 49ers, I think clearly the best team in the NFC is the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. But I think the San Francisco 49ers are right behind them. Like, I think, and we saw this past weekend that the Vikings are not what we thought they were.
No, I mean,
no, you think it was so okay.
I don't think it's a fluke, but it's like you're on the tail end of the season. Again, people are getting tired. I know I use that excuse, but it's like it's football. You're grinding it out. Temperatures are dropping. It's colder. Like, you're just getting into new territory when you're later in the season, that these kind of fluky mishaps and shenanigans tend to happen towards the end of the season. So I don't know.
Okay. So hold on. Let's get into that. So the biggest story coming out of week 14, there's two huge stories. We just touched on one with Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. And the second biggest story is the Detroit Lions are on a absolute mission to make the postseason, upsetting the Minnesota Vikings, playing really, really well. I'm not going to lie. If the Packers get eliminated, I'm getting on the let's make the playoffs Detroit Lions. Like, they're so likable.
Are they, though? I'm just looking at so they're 6-7 now. So
yes,
they'd have to win. So Packers are 5-8. So how is this going to work mathematically? Like, I'm doing the beautiful mind thing. They are in contention, though. So
so they've got I think they're the same. They have to win out. So the teams that are all in the mix are in the NFC are the Washington Commanders, the New York Giants, the Detroit Lions, the Packers, and I'm sure there's another team in there. I forget. The Carolina Panthers. I don't know the math of who needs to win what. I only know because I'm a Packer fan and I follow Packer media.
You're like, that's all I care about.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why I know that their season hinges on the Seahawks and Niners this weekend. But if you're any of these teams, you want to win your games, right? And if you look at the Lions' schedule. So, spoiler alert, this Lions-Jets game is my game of the weekend coming up this weekend, because these are two teams that are on the cusp of the playoffs in their respective conferences, and they both need to win this game.
It's very true. And I mean, if we're going there, we can wrap it up early. I have San Fran Seahawks was who I was going to take.
There you go.
For Purdy, for the storyline, but then also I didn't realize they would be mathematically eliminated. I just was like, this is a good game to watch.
The Packers are definitely, because the Packers have lost, like they lost to Washington, they lost to the Giants, they lost to the Lions. Like they're like, they need to win out and they need some luck. Whereas, like, some of these other teams, like, I don't think, like, if the Lions lose a game, I don't think they're mathematically eliminated. Whereas, like, if the Packers lose, it's over.
Yeah. Well, they could arguably win the next 4 games. Only because I'm saying, like, their bye week, that actually really helped them, because there was a whole bunch of injured, like, Dubs is back. Aaron Jones is back. Everybody who was actually out on the IR is back for this game against against LA. So
I mean, you look at the Packers' last 4 games, and it's like, okay, you got the Rams. That's a game. It's the Rams at home. It's Monday Night Football. Everyone's healthy, like you're saying. Yes, they should win that football game. Then on Christmas Day, they've got the Dolphins in Miami, and Aaron Rodgers never plays well in Florida, but the Dolphins are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. Tua's starting to look not so great.
A little wonky. His concussion is showing.
The thing that scares me about that game though is the Dolphins are another team that in the AFC are fighting for their playoff lives, right? So it's like they can't, like there's a lot of good. We're seeing this sort of picture now in the playoffs where in both conferences you've got your teams that are like, you've got like the Eagles, the Niners, and the Vikings. Like they're gone. They're making the playoffs. Yep. And then you've got the Bills and the Chiefs. They're gone. They're making the playoffs. And then everybody else underneath, it's like scrapping out for like seeding and like who's going to play what and where. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay, they are playing the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose that game to the Cincinnati Bengals, the Carolina Panthers, who currently hold a record of what is the Carolina Panthers record? It's I'll pull it up in a second. They're right behind the Bucks.
5-8.
5-8. We'll take over first place in the NFC South.
This all just goes back to like your opening line of like, what the fuck is this season?
Yes.
Right now?
This is the only thing. This is the only thing about the NFL playoff structure that I find bothersome. Like, it's ridiculous that a team like, I don't know, like the Lions, who could end up with a winning record, or some of these teams in these tougher divisions in the AFC are going to miss the playoffs, but some team in the crappy NFC South is going to finish. Like, look at the NFC South. Buccaneers 6-7, Panthers 5-8, Falcons 5-8, Saints 4-9. One of those teams is going to win their division and get a home playoff game, where the Dallas Cowboys, perfect example, are going to finish the season 12-3, 13-3, like, and go on the road. It's ridiculous.
I did not come prepared for this podcast. Like, I am just mind blasted right now at all of what's going on. Like, we need a statistician. We need like some math. You need
the dude on Sunday Night Football who's like their version of like the guy who does the election stuff for CNN.
Yes.
Where he like goes through all the different scenarios and percentages.
John King with the magic board?
Yes.
That's what this is a PSA. If you are a math nerd, please apply to this podcast. Please comment below. We need you to come in here and run these regressions for us.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. Like there's a lot of different scenarios, and like that part of it is exciting. The NFL playoffs they're the best thing in pro sports, in my opinion.
Yeah. They are. Yes. Well, wild card weekend is like just the Saturday, Sunday games and how electric that all is some of the best just sports weekends that you could ever ask for across any sport. Like, it's just ridiculous.
1000% agree with you. So yeah, we got a lot. Like, there has been a lot of crappy football this season. There's a lot of crappy teams, but there are also a bunch of teams in the running for the final few playoff spots in both the AFC and the NFC. Like the New England Patriots are still in the mix in the AFC. Yeah, it's wild.
They're on the bubble. Are you on this, like, I feel like we're both online right now looking at this. Are you on this like interactive big playoff picture map that on NFL.com?
If the playoffs started tomorrow, all 4 teams in the NFC East would be in the playoffs. Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants would all be in the playoffs.
That's wild. This on the bubble thing, the teams that would be on the outside looking in if the season ended today, the Raiders, which makes sense.
Yeah.
However, they might still also be in.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many different ways it can go. It's incredible.
That's wild.
Yes.
So how do we think our Pack are going to do on Monday? How are you feeling?
I see them picking up the win. The Rams had the nice story last week with Baker Mayfield coming in and winning on Thursday Night Football. That's good. The Rams are still a team that is just annihilated by injuries, and the Packers need to win. I honestly, it's going to be really interesting. Let's just say the Seahawks pull off the upset on Thursday. Let's just say that happens. Okay, the entire dynamic of the final four games changes. I think if that happens, you find out not long after that they're shutting Aaron Rodgers down, and Jordan Love will play the final four games for the Packers. But if that doesn't happen, then it's all systems go, guns blazing. We got to win out these final four games.
Either scenario is interesting to me, because what happens if our hearts are shattered and you play Jordan Love for the final four games and he wins all four?
Then you get, well, then I think
there's a tough conversation. There's an ups his trade value, or there's a tough conversation. Yeah.
I don't think they've got too much money. We talked about this last week. They've got too much money committed to Rodgers. Like, they can't, to the point that, like, if they get rid of him, they're like paying penalty on their salary cap.
No, I get it, but I guess it's like, from like, I know nothing about football. Let's just say that you're going to pay for him either way. Are you going to pay for him sitting on the bench, where potentially someone like Jordan Love can come in and actually click with the rookies and make a season out of next year? Or are you going to pay for him to be kind of the egotistical maniac that we've seen this season and do nothing? Like, I don't know. I mean, either way, it's a sunk cost. You're still paying for him.
There was a rumor floating around Wisconsin media this week that Jordan Love, if Rodgers does come back, Jordan Love will request a trade out of Green Bay.
What year was he drafted? 2018?
Yeah, 17? So he's been behind Rodgers for 3 years now.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and Rodgers sat behind Favre for 3 before he became the starter. So...
And not getting too many touches either, right? Like, how many times has Jordan Love seen the field?
He started one regular season game. That's it. Yeah, he came in against Philly, and that's it. So I don't know I think if they do end up getting eliminated, the focus has to shift to getting Love in there, making him look as good as you can possibly make him look, and then assessing the offseason whether you want to trade him, whatever. That's what I think. Oh, anyway,
I don't know. We'll see.
So we already made our week 15 picks. There's a couple other really good games this weekend. I mentioned Buccaneers and Bengals already.
Yep.
If you look at, there's a couple other interesting games.
You can't forget. I know you can't pick your own team, but he's not here. Bills and Dolphins.
And Dolphins Saturday night. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yep, and we just talked about, you were just going through the playoff mega map thing there. Yeah. Giants Commanders on Sunday Night Football has a ton of playoff ramifications to it.
Yep.
Yeah. So this has got me excited. Like, we started this off being like, I literally just wanted a roller coaster of emotions with you. Like, we started this off being like, oh man, there's been a lot of crappy football. But now, like, we just were like, this team's in it, and this team's in it, and this is it. It's like, whoa, this is exciting.
We're actually eating our words at this point. There's actually a lot of good football. Well, I wouldn't say good on-field product football. I'd say all of the semantics that happen around what's going on field are interesting. Like,
yes, there's a lot of exciting scenarios happening.
It's going to be a weekend. You're going to be glued? What is the meal of choice for Sunday football? Nachos, chili. We're in chili territory right now.
We did chili last weekend. Last Sunday. It's also the time of year where it's like holiday parties, right? So it's like we've got holiday parties Friday, Saturday, and then we've got my mother-in-law is going out of town for Christmas, so we're having sort of an early Christmas with her so she'll be here on Sunday. Now, it's just her. She doesn't impede my football watching, but we'll end up having some sort of Christmas-esque meal on Sunday night
to complement the football watching.
That's right.
If you know anything about Rob throughout the years of this podcast, you will be parked in one location location only.
Oh yeah, man. I get psychotic. Once we get into the playoff weekends, I am psychotic. Wild card weekend and divisional weekend, no plans. And if my wife makes plans, I'm not going. Like, nope.
You're like,
I am
count
at
me
home.
right out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Hold my calls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And like, I love it so much that I can't, well, if we go to somebody's house, they'll have the game on. It's like, no, like these are the two best football weekends of the year. If you want to come over to my house and watch it with me, come on over. Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not going and sitting in somebody else's house where they have control of the TV setup and like, is the volume on? Is it not going to be on? Like all that kind of stuff. No, like,
you don't also know who else is going. Like if it's a party where it's like friends of friends are coming, like you don't want to be beside this like talkative Ted who's just asking you constant questions while you're trying to watch the Packers game.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I feel the same way about Super Bowl parties too. Like I've become a bit of a curmudgeon with Super Bowl parties. It's like I'm one of the few people that who actually watches the game. So it's like I don't want to go and have it on in the background and nobody's watching and everyone's yapping through. Now, I don't need to be like everybody quiet and sit and listen, but at the same time, it's like Super Bowl parties get out of hand.
I'm the same way for the past, the COVID years have definitely disrupted it, but generally, let's say for the past 5 years, my house only. Also, I want to have a few drinks. I don't want to have to deal with Ubers. I want to drink all of the beers in the comfort of my own home, and you are more than welcome to stay. But when I am done drinking the beers, I will be retreating to bed because I have to go to work the next day.
That's exactly how I feel about the playoff weekends too. It's like, I don't want to like figure out like, and that's another thing too. Like if the games are starting, like the new wild card weekend format is there's 3 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday. So it's like, I'm like, if we're going to somebody's house, we're getting there at 1:00.
Yep.
And then when we're leaving, we're timing it to whenever the one game's over so I can get home in time for the start of the second one. So just the easy way, don't bother. If you want to do a social gathering, come to my house. It's that simple.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
here
all I got to say about that.
I'm here for it. And if Thursday doesn't go our way, then I feel like all my content is just going to be talking about watching football and getting drunk on Sundays and cheering 100%. For the Bills. That's it.
100%.
That's all we're doing.
We've only got a few weeks to go. You know another thing that's crazy this year? I don't know how my wife's going to feel about this. There is football on all day on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
All day. And then they've got games on Sunday, and it's only like Red Zone will be on Saturday on Christmas Eve.
Not to mention, I realize we're on a football podcast, but all of the basketball that is going on during that time, like this is just a sports fan's ultimate dream. It's like Christmas, rum and eggnog, basketball, football. There's probably other sports going on that I don't even. Like World Juniors starts up. Like it's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, I was looking ahead at the sked and I saw that it was on Christmas Eve, and I'm like, ooh, I'm really going to have to figure out how I want to PR this, watching football all day on Christmas Eve. And it's like 4:25 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Cowboys, Eagles. Like,
that's it.
I'm watching that.
All would be forgiven with a sparkly gift, Rob. That's all you need to know.
That's right. I gotta really, really, really assess if my gift is where it should be if I'm going to watch football.
You either got to add to it based on where you want to be from a football consumption level, or stay the same, or I will leave that one with you. I will leave that one with you.
Buddy. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll be back next week to talk about week 15. Thanks, everybody, so much for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button below. Spread the word. Tell your friends. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.